Hello, it's the old bear from the old bear's den of Bigfoot. We're back again today, and we got a kind of a wild one out of Minnesota. And in this one, there is a gentleman that works for a tree cutting company up in Minnesota, and they went and did a job at a construction company. They had to cut some trees up, and in the process of cutting these trees up, they were introduced to Bigfoot. And in this process, what got it started was they were doing a job in a residential area, and the construction company is on the back side of the residential area, and the guy had some trees he needed cut up on the back side of his fence, and on the back side of the fence there were trees, limbs that were jabbed into the wire that's on the top of the fence to keep people out. Now, I'll give you a brief description of this construction company. The backside had chain link fence, 12 foot tall, and on top of it, it had razor wire, and a razor wire pointed out to keep something from coming in. And the rest of it on both sides and the front were 8 foot tall. And they also had razor wire on both the sides, and the front had cattle wire, or what do you call it? Barbed wire. Had to ask the missus. She's better at words than me. No. And so they get on a job site. They get there about 8 o'clock one morning. And this is like Thursday morning. And by noon, they see that the job's going to take them 2 full days. So they're working pretty hard, and they were using a man lift that operates by itself. It has 2 wheels, and you can pull it behind a vehicle, and it has a bucket on it, and you put the stabilizers down, and it raises up, and it can go up to 20 feet high because it expands out. The boom on it expands out. They used that, and they parked it over at the upper end of the yard next to the 12 foot tall fence. When they were done with it, after they got all the trees out of the razor wire. So the supervisor on the job called his boss and told him it was going to take him 2 days, and he told him, okay, that's fine, I'll let him know, and just get as much done as you can today, and then finish it up tomorrow and get back in here. We got new jobs next week. So that was Thursday. Well, Thursday night, about 4 o'clock, one of the guys that works for the construction company came in and told them that they should park their truck, the big truck, and any equipment they were planning on leaving there that night inside of the fence. He didn't give a reason why, but told them to bring it around, and they brought the truck that holds all of the shredded wood in it, and they have a shredder there, and they were going to they hooked that up to the truck, not thinking about the lift, and took it around and put it inside the fence about 4:30. They left in the boss's pickup, which, it's a big crew cab pickup, and there's 6 guys there. That's including the supervisor. So they left, And when they left, nobody thought about the man lift. Big mistake. And as when the guy got home later, he thought it was kind of strange. That guy told him, you need to pull all your equipment in here if you plan on leaving it. You don't want to leave it out there in the just a few feet outside of the fence. And he went home, dropped the guys off at work. Everybody left. They went home. He took the pickup home. As a supervisor, you get a few privileges. He took the company truck home, got home, ate dinner, and went to bed because he knew he had to be up early the next morning to meet the guys at the shop, pick them up, take them all the way back up there. And the area around the construction place, there's a 20-foot buffer between the fence line, or not a 20 foot, about a 30-foot buffer between the fence line and the trees. And in the process of doing all this, he woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning and was thinking about the man lift for some reason. Don't know why. They didn't even pay attention to it. So they left. Whenever he got there the next morning, picked the guys up, and they went up there. And he went around and he was thinking about the man lift. And he wanted to check it out when he first got there. So they went all the way over where they parked the man lift and looked at it. And, well, it was kind of... evidently Bigfoot don't like man lifts. The bottom of the man lift, the bucket, had a large deposit in it, a very smelly, stinky material. There was other material around it, on it, and they said, well, we're going to pull this thing around to the edge over here. They got the other truck in there, and the other crew that was working in the residential area were supposed to be down there at noon to help them finish up. So they're starting to think something's wrong. It's not a good thing. Well, the other crew got held up, didn't make it down there to about 3 o'clock, and they're still working on those, finishing up those trees. Well, the other crew came down there and helped them out, and, well, it started getting dark when they were just about done. It was starting to get late in the day, and they could not figure out who or what did that to their man lift. Well, the other crew put their truck in there, and they had a shredder also, and, well, they were working it pretty hard and didn't pay attention to where they parked, and they parked in a sinkhole. Well, the truck got stuck. Now, it's one of those big ones, got the big box on it where they shredded the trees and limbs and all that stuff up and put it inside. So, about dark, they figure out the truck's stuck. They can't get it pulled out with the other big truck, and they can't get it pulled out with the company pickups hooked up to it and trying to get it out of there. So they have to call a wrecker. Now, all of them's going to be staying there until the wrecker gets there. The bosses ain't going to leave. There's 2 supervisors there, and the owner of the company was notified, and he called a wrecker, and they told him that it'd be 3 to 4 hours before they got there. Well, they got there about 6:30. Now, they made the phone call at about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And so 2.5 hour wait. Now, at this point in time, this was in September of this year, and at this point in time, they did their best to try to get the truck out of there. They got everything cleaned up, got the job site cleaned up, the tree all cut up. The logs from the trees were taken around front, put in where the construction company's at, and they're trying to get this truck out, and they're not having any success, so they're waiting on the wrecker now. Somebody volunteers to go get pizza. There's a small town nearby, and there's a mom and pop store that sells pizza that they make up themselves, and well, they went and got pizza. Yeah, not good. Food smells along with all that noise, and you all know how Bigfoot is when it comes to noise. They don't like it. And they're sitting there, they're eating pizza on the back of the pickups, and they're waiting on the tow truck, and it starts getting dark, and they turn some lights on the equipment, and so, you know, it's lit up a little bit, and they got pop, and they're drinking that, and eating pizza, and all them guys are there, and, you know, the company's paying for it. They're paying them while they sit there, so, you know, they're getting paid to sit there. Well, starts getting dark, and they start hearing strange noises coming from the wood line. They hear what they describe to be a car alarm inside of the woods going off. It's not a car alarm. And then they start hearing sounds coming through the tall grass where they just been cutting trees. And they're freaking out, and guys are starting to edge towards the pickups to leave, and it's really starting to bother them. So they get in their pickups, and they leave in the company pickups and leave. And they ran into the tow truck. Now, it's one of the big tow trucks. These trucks ain't very light, so they have to go in there, and they go back with him, thinking that all this big piece of equipment there, they ain't going, whatever that was won't bother them. My wife's rolling her eyes now. So they do the smart thing. They let the tow truck back in there with all the lights on and all the noise, and he backs in. He drops the thing to where he can pick the front of the truck up. He picks the front of the truck up. He's like, well, I'll just pull it up out of there and you guys can take off. And he has to put a couple of chains on it to make sure it don't come off the arm. It comes up down at the back of the tractor. And he does that, and he hears something. He's not sure what it is, but he hears something. And he gets back in the truck and pulls that truck out and gets it out of the sinkhole. Well, he gets back out and shuts the tractor off. All the lights are still on. Flashing lights, all that stuff's still on. Well, he shut the tractor off for some reason. And when he shut the tractor off, they could hear. They hear something screaming. And it's coming from the wood line. So they get in a hurry and get this truck dropped and get all this. He starts the truck, runs up there and starts the truck back up, drops the tractor, drops that truck, and they air it up real quick. They rev it up and get the air on it and push the air brakes and pull it out. And all these guys are kind of freaked out now, and they're hearing all this screaming. Well, when they start leaving, start going to the pickups, and all these lights are on, they see one Bigfoot come out of the tree line, and it stands there and it screams at them, and it's pissed. It is mad. and it's screaming at them. Every other step, it stops and screams, and everybody's freaking out. Everybody's running to vehicles. They've got things hooked up. They're leaving. They're not stinking around. They're getting out of there. And the tow truck driver, that poor guy, he must have been in a world that was, really taken care of. And he just runs up, gets in the tow truck, and starts changing gears. And he's getting the heck out of Dodge, and he flies off. He doesn't even get his paper signed by him. And the ones in the pickups are, they still got the two big trucks pulling two shredders, and they start heading out of there as fast as them big trucks will move. And the guys in the pickups, the ones got that man lift that's really bad behind them, and they see a total of four creatures. They see them coming out of the woods with all the lights and stuff that was there, and they leave. Pretty benign, fairly benign account, but it's not done yet. Well, they get to the site, get back to their shop, they park the company vehicles, and they go home. Well, over the weekend, both supervisors are called and told that they have to go back up there. He's sending both crews up there, and he's going to have both crews on site. He needs them both up there because over the weekend, Friday night, the guy that owned the construction company, he came in on Saturday morning to make sure some maintenance got done on his equipment, and there's four new big trees pushed over. Not little trees, big trees. Arm that big. And so he calls the tree company boss, tells him he needs them back up there, that four more trees have fallen. And the guy's like, well, how the heck did we haven't had wind? And he's like, I don't know, they're down. I need them cut up. So he sends his two crews back up there. He's only got two crews. It's not a real big tree company. So they go back up there on Monday. They're dreading going up there after what they saw on Friday. They didn't tell the boss. Monday morning, they get up there about 7 a.m. It's daylight. And at that point, these two crews are working double hard to get out of there. They cut all those trees up. They get them all cut up. They get all the branches up there, get them all put through the shredders. They get all the logs and put them into pickups, take them around front. Now, they didn't put anything in the razor wire, which is a good thing. And it's starting to get around dark on this day. Well, when it starts getting dark, these guys are getting fidgety, wanting to leave. They know what's there. They don't want to mess with it. Don't want to deal with it, which is understandable. I wouldn't want to deal with it. Four of them at once. And so they do their job. And it starts getting dark. And the next thing that happened is, guess what comes out of the woods? Half an hour before dark, right when they're cleaning up and getting ready to leave. It comes out and screams at them. Everybody snaps their heads up, looks at it, and goes, oh, good Lord, and they're running. They're throwing chainsaws in the back of pickups. They didn't even unhook the shredders from the trucks that day. And so they're running to get in these vehicles, and these things are coming after them. When they saw the big one, two more popped out within a few feet of this one, and then another one pops out after those start not running, but walking steadily, briskly towards them. So the fourth one comes out and it stops and screams and it drops to all fours and starts running at them. They said it looked like a freaking spider running across that opening. Now they've only got 30 feet before they get to them. They get in their trucks and they start pulling out, and the big trucks pulled out before the pickups did. And in the pickups, they look in their side mirrors, and the big guys in the big trucks looked in their side mirrors, and these things are closing in fast. They start freaking out. These things start. They, I guess, evidently left a few limbs down there, and they threw and hit the big truck with a limb, and I mean they were pretty upset with these guys making all that noise. I guess it woke them up, and so they get out of there unscathed. They leave, and on the way, the one supervisor that I spoke to called the big boss and told him that he would never go back up there, what they ran into and what they saw. And the big boss didn't believe him, but evidently one of them guys got a camera shot of one. Now, the night they left everything in the yard, they put a GoPro that has night vision, or a camera that has night vision on the shredder, and it's facing towards the trees. And they got a picture of the Bigfoot in green. The Bigfoot's not green, but in the green night vision. And it's like this, turned towards them, looking at the camera. And I tried to get him to let me publish this picture, but I'm told that it shows where the company is, so they asked me if they would not publish it. I want to, tried to figure out a way to cut it out, but I can't, because the name is right there on the fence facing towards the front. And I wished I could get it. I wished I could talk them into just letting me publish it and maybe try to blur it or something of that nature. And I tried blurring it, and I ended up blurring half the freaking Bigfoot, screwing up the picture I have. So, I know one of you viewers wanted to know if there's Bigfoot in Minnesota. You have Bigfoot in Minnesota. Sorry to tell you this, but they evidently can survive there too. And it's in central Minnesota where this was at. It's not near a major city. It's a small town that it was at. And there's not a lot of cover for them, but evidently they can survive also in that type of woods that's up there. In that area, near a suburb. And it's just a situation that these guys stumbled into. 12 different guys saw it. 12 different guys gave the same type of report about these things, and nobody else will go up and check it out. But they contacted me to let me know and to put this out there to let you people know that Bigfoot is in Minnesota. So I hope you enjoy it. And from the Mrs. Bear and the Old Bear, we are done. And we hope and pray that you have a blessed day and that you are blessed every day. Thank you all, and have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.